Welcome back. This is Good Morning Namibia. Now, the official launch of the SADC Communication Awareness and Visibility Strategy was launched in Botswana earlier this week. This new strategy aims to strengthen how SADC communicates its programs, its policies, and achievements to the people of the region, ensuring that citizens not only understand SADC's work, but also feel connected to its vision of regional integration, peace, and development. Mr. Peter Denk, Head of News and Current Affairs at the Namibian Broadcasting Corporation, now joins us in person to unpack the significance of the launch, the role of media in regional cooperation, and what the strategy means for public engagement across Southern Africa. Peter Sebastian, good morning and welcome to Good Morning Namibia. It's been a minute.
It's been a while, Dan.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Are you well?
It's always a privilege being here.
Yeah.
I'm great.
The privilege is ours to have you. How was your short visit to neighboring Botswana?
It was great. Managed to pick up a little bit on Setswana.
Very well.
Likai, Reteng,
Yes.
those things. Yeah, so it was good. Integration also helped a little bit.
I'm always very curious. Did you use a passport or an ID?
I used a passport because I had to travel via
Neighboring South Africa.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. But we do know in terms of the regional integration plan that we are able to now travel more directly. And I think that also will smoothen things on multiple levels.
Indeed.
Yeah. Speak to us about the significance of this engagement that you attended.
Yeah, well, it's been a very intense one-day event in Gaborone. SADC established in 1980 as the Southern African Development Coordinating Conference. It changed in 92 to the SADC, the Southern African Development Community. And throughout the years, it has made a lot of achievements. That it had its challenges, of course, also. But during the almost 50-year almost 50-year existence, there had been various plans, communication plans, and so on. And the last one was the 2016 to 2020 communication plan. That now was changed or adapted to the 2025, 2030 plan. Because obviously to fit into new emerging communication technologies, new environment, how people would operate. We were talking about just crossing with the IDs. All of those achievements, how SADC would communicate. So that was, in essence, what it was in terms of the engagement that we would unpack and see really what is the SADC communication strategy is all about. Very well.
It's common cause that a communication strategy must be agile and must be responsive. It cannot be rigid. It cannot become stagnant. And you've touched on some of the key objectives of the strategy. Would you like to outline some of the other goals, some of the other objectives, please?
Yes, indeed. It's not about just disseminating information. That's not what the strategy is about. The strategy is about bringing connections, bridging. We were talking about also the digital divide amongst especially within our rural communities. How do we communicate the achievements of SADC? How does a policy or a protocol, SADC protocol, transform the lives of ordinary people? So that is actually basically what the core of this policy is really.
We just touched base with UNICEF representatives on an engagement they also had in neighboring Botswana, and what did feature, as you did witness, was the harmonization of what it is that we do. And I would imagine also to avoid operating in silos, to make sure that we speak the same proverbial language, if you wish, that we need some harmonized fundamentals of such a strategy, certainly.
Indeed, and that is really what SADC is about, to harmonize so many things. We were talking about telling stories about, how truck drivers had experienced delays or couldn't travel because their driver's licenses could not be accepted in other countries. Now, through SADC, I think under the transport protocol also, they are able to travel without any hiccups or any holdups. So that is what it is about, that harmonization. Also, if you look at somebody in rural Namibia or in Windhoek for that matter, a seamstress, for instance, that was that example, where cross-border payments became an issue, but she's been having a market outside of Namibia. But now there's a mechanism through SADC where you can actually do your business and your payments get to be done within a day, basically.
That is regional integration, Mr. Denk, is it
Indeed,
not?
and that is really what the policy speaks about. And also when we talk about that, we need to inform people what really the achievements and how transformative the policies of SADC is, and basically bringing it down to the grassroots, to the men and women in the street.
Bear with me, but a thought that just struck me is we're talking about the African Continental Free Trade Area and the benefits of that agreement. But we first need to internalize that within ourselves in SADC before we can actually put our money where our mouths are. Is that not so?
Yes, we can have many meetings. We can have many talk shops about what the free trade area is. But if we do not understand it ourselves, it's going to be difficult for us to implement.
Yes, absolutely. And as broadcasters, we certainly have a very important role to play. I remember about 2 Novembers ago, I was on a bus in the south of Zambia, and listening to Kati FM in that bus meant a great deal beyond only being a patriotic Namibian, but also to what extent, if I am in Zambia or in Namibia or in Botswana, do I familiarize myself with the lingua franca, so that if I do listen to Kati FM in Livingston as a non-Namibian, that I'm still able to stay abreast of developments not only in Namibia, but developments in the region, that may or may not affect me directly or indirectly.
Yes, and I mean, that is what we are saying, the role that broadcasters can play in terms of, putting a spotlight onto what SADC does. I mean, there was this expression at the meeting, winking in the dark, and you cannot. You need to put a spotlight into what you have achieved. I mean, SADC has been, since its almost 50 years of existence. I think something like 98 policies, legal frameworks, and protocols have been developed. But if you ask the ordinary man in the street, women in the street for that matter, do they know what the transport protocol provide, what the so many others that doesn't come to mind immediately, but what does it mean? I mean, people would stare with you with a blank face.
Absolutely. And I would stare at you with a blank face.
Yeah, and it's not the fault of their own. I think and that's where the media plays a very, very critical role to highlight this and make things edible, make things compatible for our consumption. And that is also what this was about. Because
you cannot wink in the dark.
No, you can't. Nobody. Yeah. There's no point of winking to Kuda in the dark. She cannot see me. Yeah.
You're speaking to part of the heart of the matter, Peter. We're talking about bridging the digital divide, which we certainly need to do. But how do we bridge the gap between SADC institutions and ordinary citizens of this region? It's certainly something that must be prioritized.
Indeed, and that makes quite a big part of the strategy. You know yourself, Denver, that we only speak about SADC when there's the SADC summit. The heads of state are in town, and there's that whole hype. You see motorcades, and people would ask, what are they doing? So you tell them, no, this is SADC. But that's where it ends. That's really where it ends. You have the high-level statements, but what happens after this SADC summit? What happens about resolutions that have been taken, decisions have been taken, decisions that affect the lives of you and me? And this is really where we need to come in, and that ivory tower situation, to break it down and
dismantle
it completely.
Yeah,
and say this is what SADC is about, the people. That's the core of SADC. SADC is about the people and how it transforms the life of ordinary people.
Your substantive role on these premises certainly is not without significance. Speak to us about what do you think we need to do despite the efforts that are already underway, which we also need to, of course, acknowledge, to help strengthen the efforts of the region to make sure that we actually implement the fundamentals of this revised communication strategy?
As you know, we already have the Eye on SADC platform that is produced here at the NBC. That is a very important platform because it goes, when we broadcast it live here at 1:30 every day, weekday, it also gets distributed across the region. There are challenges in terms of, member countries not really contributing too many of their stories. And there are so many wonderful stories. Just sights and sounds. If you talk of the Maluti Mountains in Lesotho, the highlands, and even Swaziland, Eswatini.
The Great Kingdom.
Yes, for that matter. And this is the vehicle, this is the platform, and we need to make more effective use of the existing platforms. There is also the radio platform, the SADC 360, a radio broadcast, I think a 1-hour program that is broadcast out of Maseru in Lesotho. So these are the platforms that we should strengthen and build on that. And then with the new technology, the new digital platforms, reinforce that through shorter form. We talked about the youth and that demographic, and it's important that we reach them also, that they know. I can send my grandmother money in a day if I live in Gaborone or if I live in Harare. So these are things that we need to engage in productively and with haste. Yes.
There is urgency. Yeah. Although we may no longer be at least junior youth. Yeah. We're certainly senior youth.
Senior youth, indeed.
Any final thoughts before we let you go?
I think when we do this, when we break down the SADC communication strategy, we need to look at having a very human-centric approach. Put a face to what policy SADC has adopted, and really break it down for all of us. You were talking about Kati FM in Livingston, but those consumers of that platform, the radio platforms, which we know are very rural, we need to break it down to a compatible, edible, digestible format, so that they can benefit, they can transform their lives through this. Thank you.
You and I can get carried away. Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have the luxury of time at the moment to entertain getting carried away.
Indeed.
Thank you for your time, thank you for those insights, and thank you for holding our flag so high in neighboring Botswana.
It's always good to be here, Denver. Thank you.
Always good to have you.
Thank you.